Okay, so I wanted to do this video to tell the story of the day the accident happened, for a few reasons, but mostly to help other people remember the importance to take the safety precautions that I didn't that day. Greg's been roofing for like 15 years, and I've been doing plenty construction work. I'm a journeyman welder, and um, I've been roofing with Greg for 4 or 5 years. And yeah, I should have known better to tie that ladder off, and I shouldn't have been fussing around with it as I was cleaning the gutters. We were done that job. Like, Terry and Brenda's roof was done. Greg just had to finish like sealing up some areas with like black gold, and I was just finishing out the gutters. I just finished up the south side. I needed to go to the north side and finish it up. So when I climbed down the ladder, because I was messing around with it, I thought it was okay, but one of the ladder feet was off, and it tipped. Like, it went west or left, and I went right or east. And I was hanging on to the east trough, and I remember scrambling, trying to get my feet to pull the ladder back, and it wasn't working. And then I remember the east trough snapping, and I don't remember falling or hitting the ground. But I must have fallen because it was my right side that broke the most. So I was like up, left side under, right side. So I protected my head in the fall, but I broke both my wrists. I broke my collarbone. Like, it's pretty bumpy. It's working on healing. I keep my arm rested appropriately most of the time, and then ribs. I've heard anywhere from 3 to 6 ribs. I'm not sure how many it was. I don't feel the ribs. I didn't feel the ribs. And my shoulder blade and one of my vertebrae was cracked. I didn't feel any of those. But my shoulder, like this part of my shoulder, my collarbone, my wrists, and my head. There's a brain bleed in there. There was one that they were pretty worried about at first. There's a laceration in the back of my head that I had stitches in. I'm not sure where the brain bleed was. Like, I imagine it was here because that's where it hurts the most right now. But they told me where it was. But again, like, I don't remember a lot of what went on, and especially that first week out of the ALEC. I don't remember falling. I do remember coming to, like, just as or just before the ambulance came, but Brenda and Terry had visited me about a week ago and filled me in on some of the bits that I don't remember. So I fell. One of their neighbors, my sister's boss's husband, actually saw the ladder fall and came right over because he figured something was wrong. And then Greg started running over around the same time, and Brenda and Terry came outside. So Greg obviously didn't have a ladder to get off the roof with, so he jumped down, which I find horrifying because he landed safely, so he must have like hung off the edge of the roof and then dropped down or something, Spider-Man style. But he thought I was dead. Terry came and like checked me real quick, and he called 911 right away. And then Greg and Brenda started like doing the safety checks, and I'm not sure what they did, but Greg started checking me first. Like, as a butcher, they check animals a certain way on kill day to see if they're on their way to passing, right? So that's what he thought. He saw me, and I was barely breathing. I had the wind knocked out of me, right? So I was like, and he'd opened my eyelids and was poking at, like, not hard, like gently checking to see if I was responsive is what he was doing, and I wasn't. So he thought that was it for me. So he's terrified, obviously, and so, but then Brenda and Terry and, gods, I've forgotten the guy's name. My sister's boss's husband. They started like doing what they can to keep me safe, so I wasn't moving in case I had a broken neck, because I started coming to just as the ambulance came up, and And I could tell that Greg was stressed out, obviously. I don't remember this, but this is what I'm assuming, is that I could tell Greg was freaking out, and I thought I was going to be funny and try to cheer him up, so I kept saying, Greg, what did you do to me? Greg, what did you do to me? It wasn't funny. It scared the crap out of him. Yeah, because he was already terrified, and he was relieved that I was coming too, but he was scared that I thought he hurt me, which I didn't. I was just trying to make him laugh. And of course, I was saying that in front of the ambulance attendants and the EMTs, so they probably thought, did something bad happen here? So, yeah, that wasn't great. But the ambulance got me back into the back and did some quick treatment there, and then brought me to the emergency room. And Dr. Gerdanis was actually in the emergency room that day. It was a lot of fun, because the ambulance obviously made sure that I was in no pain, so I was right loot by the time I got into the emergency room. And chatting away and joking around with Dr. Gerdanis, and Greg sitting there like white-faced and dear God, what just happened? I shouldn't laugh. He was terrified, and I feel so bad about it. But yeah, Dr. Gerdanis and I were joking around and having fun. They were asking me questions and like asking me the kids' names and my birthday and what town we live in, that kind of stuff. And my right arm was really broken, so Gerdanis set that one the best he could, but like they both needed surgery. So I don't know how many times I went in and out of the CAT scan and the x-rays, but it felt like 100. So they were checking on that brain blade to see if it possibly would need surgery, right? So they weren't certain of that when I left, as far as I remember, but they knew that I needed surgery on my arm, so they sent me straight down to the ALEC. I don't remember the ambulance ride to the airport or the plane ride down, but Greg's uncle drove him down the next day. The kids were already at my mom's, so they just stayed there, obviously. And then, yeah, they flew me down to the ALEC, and Greg drove down. In the ALEC, I don't have a lot of memory of in the ALEC. I know that my surgery didn't happen until, so that was Sunday that we went down. It wasn't until Wednesday or Thursday that the surgery happened. And, yeah, the nurses were fabulous there. The doctor, went to school with my doctor, Dr. Hansen, and, or did some training with her, but he was fabulous. It was a room of 4 of us, so that wasn't great, but I mean, the roommates were fine. There's no problem there. I remember one of the nurses just being so nice. I hadn't had a shower in a couple days, so she helped me have a nice, long, awesome shower. It was phenomenal. Yeah, they were so kind. But it was in Peace River, so I was super happy after I finally got the surgery and got to come home. My uncle and Greg spent most of the time with me in the hospital, and yeah, my uncle had a lot of fun with how loopy I was. Like, open up your mouth for the airplane kind of feeding, because I couldn't feed myself. And I didn't want to take medicine because I felt sick, so I'd be like, oh, to the nurses, I don't know, just give me a minute, I don't want to take that. So my uncle would be like, do you want me to try? And he'd take it, and like, Jen, take your medicine, and I'd be like, well, Grumpy, fine, I'll take my stupid medicine. So, yeah, Uncle and I had fun. And yeah, then I got to go home Saturday, back to the Peace River Hospital, which was so nice. I'm so happy to be here. I mean, if I'm going to be stuck in a hospital, this is the hospital to be in, and get to have my own doctor. Not that the other doctor was bad or anything, it's just that Dr. Hansen's my favorite, and her team, and the team in this hospital is phenomenal, so super grateful for that. But it's been a bit of a challenge. We've had to balance my medicine, because my ear was bleeding. Oh, that's another thing. My ear was bleeding, so when I hit the ground, my ear started bleeding a fair bit. It was pretty gross. And that took, it didn't heal until like probably about a week and a half before it sealed up. and when it's sealed up, like, it still feels like it's full of water. Like, I don't hear well out of my right ear yet. It seems to be rebuilding, um, but there's been we didn't have high expectations, like, in the first week or so. We didn't know how much of myself we would get back, but I started coming back more and more, um, in Peace River here. So we're so thankful for that. It could have been so bad. We know people who have family members who've had injuries, um, who have disappeared, like completely turned into totally different people. I was terrified of that. So thankful. Every bit of my recognition and my cognizance that came back, I was so grateful for. I am so grateful for, and the people that have helped us. Uh, it was a terrible accident, but I'm also just in awe and amazement at our family, friends, and community that have come together to help us, and how bad it could have been and how bad it wasn't. I'm just so thankful for that. Like, my kids are gonna have their mom back, and my husband's gonna have his wife back, and yeah, just that awe and gratitude is just phenomenal to me. The people and my healing. It sucks that it happened, but I'm not upset. So I think that's the gist of the story. So it was really hard on Greg, for sure. Thinking that he might lose his wife or might not get all of his wife back was pretty scary. And if it was the other way around, I would have been just as terrified or more than he was. So, yeah, again, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I'm so thankful. And thank you again to all of you. I love you guys so much for all your help and support, and you've all made it so much easier to keep joy through this. So thank you.